It was a Friday night along a lonely stretch of Route 66. Neon lights flickered outside Maggie's Roadhouse, a dusty little bar where truckers, bikers, and drifters came to escape the world for a while. Inside, the jukebox hummed low country tunes, the air thick with smoke and beer. The waitresses moved fast between the tables, dodging loud laughter and clinking bottles. Among them was Lily, a quiet young woman in her mid-20s. She'd been working there for just a few months, polite, soft-spoken, and always trying to stay out of trouble. The regulars liked her, mostly because she smiled even when exhausted. But tonight, her smile was tight, her eyes wary. Something about the crowd felt different. The doors swung open with a loud creak, and the room's noise dimmed instantly. 5 bikers walked in wearing black leather jackets marked with the Iron Vultures emblem, a skull wrapped in chains. Their leader, Rex, was a tall, broad-shouldered man with a jagged scar down his cheek and a presence that made people move out of his way. He had that look. Someone who'd seen too much, done too much, and feared nothing. Whiskey. "The good kind," Rex growled, throwing his gloves onto the counter. Lily nodded nervously and poured the drinks, her hands slightly shaking. As she placed the glasses down, one of the bikers cracked a crude joke. Rex laughed, a deep, rough sound, but his eyes stayed locked on Lily. When she turned to leave, her elbow accidentally brushed the edge of Rex's glass, spilling a bit of whiskey onto his leather vest. The laughter in the bar stopped cold. Rex's jaw tightened. The other bikers looked between him and Lily, waiting for what would happen next. "I'm so sorry, sir," Lily stammered, reaching for a napkin. "It was an accident." "An accident?" Rex interrupted, his voice calm but dangerous. "You know what this vest costs, sweetheart?" He grabbed her wrist before she could step back. The music from the jukebox sputtered to silence. "Please," she whispered, her eyes wide. But Rex wasn't listening. In one swift, angry motion, he yanked at the collar of her uniform shirt, and the sound of fabric tearing echoed through the quiet bar. Gasps rippled through the room. Lily froze, clutching the torn edges of her shirt, eyes filled with horror. The light hit her bare shoulder, and that's when everyone saw it. A scar, large and jagged, stretching down from her collarbone like a burn. For a moment, Rex's fury vanished. His eyes widened, his hand still mid-air. He took a step back, his face pale. That scar. He knew it. He'd seen it before, long ago in the chaos of a burning building, on a crying little girl he'd once tried to protect. The bar stayed utterly silent. The toughest biker in the room now stood frozen, his hand trembling. Something deep inside him stirred. A memory, a name, a promise he thought he'd buried forever. Rex's hand trembled as he stared at the scar on Lily's shoulder. The memory hit him like a lightning strike. The smell of smoke, the sound of crackling flames, and a little girl screaming his name in the middle of a burning orphanage. He could see it all again, the night that destroyed everything. He stumbled backward, his tough demeanor cracking. The whole bar was dead silent. Even the jukebox seemed afraid to make a sound. One of Rex's men muttered, "Boss, you okay?" But Rex didn't respond. His voice was trapped somewhere deep, trembling like a man haunted by ghosts. Where did you get that scar?" he finally managed to ask, his voice breaking. Lily pulled her torn shirt tighter around her shoulders, frightened but confused by the sudden change in him. "What does it matter?" she whispered. "You've already humiliated me." Rex shook his head. "Please, just tell me." She hesitated, her eyes glistening. "From the fire," she said quietly. "The orphanage on Maple Street. When I was a kid, someone saved me. My brother did. But he never made it out." Rex's eyes filled with tears for the first time in decades. His throat tightened as the world around him blurred. "Lily," he whispered, his voice raw and full of disbelief. "It's me. Your brother." The bar collectively gasped. Even the hardest biker among them looked shaken. Lily froze, her eyes scanning his face. The eyes, the scar, the voice. Memories flooded back, a teenage boy holding her hand, telling her not to cry as the fire spread around them. "No." she said softly, trembling. It can't be. My brother. He died that night. Rex stepped forward slowly, pulling a worn-out silver locket from under his shirt. Inside was a faded picture, two children smiling in front of a broken swing. You gave me this before the fire, he said, his hands shaking. You said I was your hero. Lily covered her mouth, tears spilling freely now. The locket, she remembered it. Every detail. The crack on the corner, the little heart engraving. Rex, she whispered, her voice breaking. And then, in front of everyone, the feared biker fell to his knees and wrapped his arms around her. The bar watched in stunned silence as the man known for breaking bones and shattering rules now sobbed into his sister's shoulder. I thought you were gone, Lily cried. I thought I left you there, Rex whispered, his voice cracking. I've hated myself every day since. No one spoke. The bikers who once looked up to Rex as a ruthless leader now stood with heads bowed, some wiping their eyes. Finally, Rex stood and looked around the room. No one touches her, he said firmly. This is my sister, my only family. The crowd nodded silently, the moment sinking deep. Lily smiled faintly through her tears, the pain of years melting away. And in that smoky old bar on Route 66, two lost souls finally found their way home again.